Hi there. I'm talking to you today about the science of reading, how the brain actually functions when you're reading. And I'm going to distinguish between a brain that is wired one way, which produces very fluent reading, and a brain that is wired a different way, such as with dyslexia. And the reason I've chosen dyslexia is because of all of the reading disabilities, dyslexia takes up 80%. And also because I think we have and I understand why, but we have an incorrect belief that a dyslexic brain is wired wrong, or that it's a poor, there's a problem with the brain. Well, no, the problem is not with the brain. It is wired differently, but that is not a problem. The problem comes when the schools insist on teaching in one particular way, which does not help the dyslexic brain at all. It creates all kinds of problems, and I am very much against that. But knowing the science of how the brain reads is extremely important, because when we teach reading correctly according to how the brain functions naturally with fluent reading, then everybody improves with their reading. Even those that have a non-dyslexic brain will read extremely well. And those that have the dyslexic wiring of the brain will also learn to read and spell very well, which may surprise you, especially those of you who are adults now and who grew up with dyslexia. You know the pain of trying to learn to read in the public school system, or maybe even in private school, who did not know the best way of teaching reading. So I get most of my information from Dr. Sally Shaywitz. She's a pediatrician at Yale, and in the 1980s did significant amount of research in a lab there on reading. And so she actually was able to see, using MRIs, functional MRIs, which means watching the brain with an MRI and how it is actually functioning while reading. So it's an incredible amount of information, very, very good for us. And it's been proven to be extremely effective when reading is taught correctly. And there's only one way to teach English, whether it's American or English, Great Britain. All right, and I'm going to be reading from my notes. In our brains, there are special pathways dedicated to reading. There are two main pathways, one for beginners who sound out words slowly, and another for skilled readers who read quickly. Skilled readers activate specific parts of the left side of their brain when reading. Skilled readers, these parts help skilled readers to process letters, convert them into sounds, and understand their meanings. Most of the reading-related brain activity happens in the back of the brain, right back here, called the posterior reading system. It has two pathways, one higher up and another closer to the bottom. These pathways work together to process how words look, sound, and what they mean. The two pathways have different functions, however. The higher pathway is more active in beginners and helps analyze and break down words by connecting the letters to their sounds. Skilled readers rely on the lower pathway. Once this has been accomplished, then skilled readers rely on the lower pathway, which recognizes the whole words quickly. Once a word is read correctly multiple times, the brain creates a neural model of that word, storing it back here. Skilled readers can then recognize familiar words automatically, making reading much faster. And when I say automatically, I mean it literally is. It's the time that it takes to get from eye to there to, from paper to eyes to back here is incredibly small amount of time. Now, there's a third system. It's in the front of the brain called, I've always pronounced it Broca's. I don't know if that's correct or not, but Broca's area, which helps with analyzing words slowly. So obviously beginning readers, or if we come across a word that is unusual to us, then we will use this part to analyze it. So So that's how a non-dyslexic brain is wired and how it works. So let's go to the dyslexic brain. Studies have shown that dyslexic readers use different pathways in their brains compared to fluent readers. Dyslexic children have trouble activating the back of their brain, which makes it harder for them to analyze words and convert letters into sounds. However, and the reason is because they just don't have the wiring to those other places in the brain that the skilled readers have. In fact, pretty much the only wiring that they have is up here to that Broca's part that I mentioned earlier. And in fact, you may remember doing this yourself, or a child who is learning to read who has dyslexia will a lot of times cover their ears as they're reading so that they can hear it, which helps the Broca's area to analyze better. But there is hope. So research has shown that with early and effective interventions, children with dyslexia can improve their reading skills. A study conducted on dyslexic children who participated in a year-long reading program using an intensive reading program based on instruction in phonemic awareness, which is connecting letters to sounds, and phonics, a surprise, revealed remarkable changes in their brain activity, a rewiring. So this study proves that the brain can be rewired, and with the right intervention, struggling readers can become skilled readers. And Dwayne Alexander, an MD who was director of the NICHD back in the late 1990s, said that this study shows that effective reading instruction not only improves reading ability, but actually changes the brain's functioning so that it can perform reading tasks more efficiently. So what we need is the right program for all readers, because all of them will improve and become fluent readers. So thank you very much, and let me know if you would like more information on this. I will be posting more videos.